CMRetro.
Viewer discretion is advised.
A few thoughts on this. I might have some extended thoughts later. What you're going to do? I have very limited time right now, especially the past week, okay? So I'm not sure what we're going to do. Maybe I'll have a longer upload later. I just wanted to get some thoughts off my mind before I go to work this morning. Talking about this video, Haven of Scammers, Manipulators, the gaming community is broken, from CMRetro. And there was a point here that summed it up perfectly, I think, around the 7-minute mark, saying that there was a time when YouTubers cared more about people than views. More about people than their own views. And then he talked about how what ruined the gaming community on YouTube was when a lot of people saw that some people were getting rich within the gaming community. And then there was a rush to get to that level. And then how people would, stab each other in the back, walk over each other, just to get to a certain level. He talked about, how there was a time when it wasn't normal, when Patreon wasn't normal. He talked about how there's a defense of capitalism, for instance, but capitalism has its limits. And I too hear that a lot, CMRetro, when people try to criticize me and they say, well, you're off base, Rick. Capitalism, capitalism, capitalism. What's wrong with you, capitalism? And then he brought up a certain individual, we know with the P.O. box that tries to have it both ways, and they claim, well, you know what? I don't want anybody to donate to the P.O. box, but it's right there. It's in the description. But please quit sending me gifts. It's right there. People like that are a perfect example of what is wrong with the gaming community on YouTube. Now, myself, unlike CMRetro, I wouldn't say that I'm a card-carrying member of the gaming community. I mean, hell, these days, I don't really have a lot of time to play a lot of games. I used to be really heavily active. I used to play games all the time, but, that's life. So I'm not a perfect example of what would be a card-carrying member of the gaming community. But I tell you, here's what I share with a lot of you. I get pissed off whenever I die in Ninja Gaiden, okay? I get excited when I find a new area, secret area in a video game. That still is part of me. I still love to relax playing video games, and I love to talk with people about video games. I don't do that near enough that I'd like to on the channel, because I feel on my channel it's very necessary to do the type of uploads, the courageous type of uploads, speaking truth to power, like CMRetro did right here. I occupy that space. I honestly wish there was a lot more of that. I wish there was a lot more of people just, videos like this from CMRetro. It's a very positive thing, but here's the thing, CMRetro, right? A lot of people will probably come to this comment section and say you're off base. They will claim that you're off base, even though you say it in a different way than I do. It's just simple. We have issues. We have issues with the obvious manipulation of the gaming community on YouTube and as a whole. He talked about how it used to be people helping people, people talking with each other just about video games, and there was no expectations. But then you have manipulation. You have the money factoring heavily into YouTube. You have the advent of Patreon. He mentioned Streamlabs. He has a perfect example, CMRetro, when I talked about the short fat otaku the other day. How he had a video, and if he was really passionate in talking about whatever he talks about on his channel, he wouldn't have the 3 minutes. The 3 minutes of just e-begging. Let's just call it how it is. It's fucking e-begging. The 3 minutes of telling everyone exactly how you can donate. And that's, he's in anime. It's not just a problem. I'll tell you, CMRetro, it's not just a problem with a broken gaming community. It's a broken anime community. It's broken car audio community. It's broken communities wherever you look. Broken wrestling communities, internet wrestling communities, broken. It's the same thing that happens. So it's not just specifically focused on gaming, even though gaming is probably the biggest thing on YouTube. I think he just kind of is pissed off, like a lot of us, with the what's in it for me aspect. You know, like the what's in it for me aspect. Like if he approached me and said, you know, hey Rick, I noticed you play a lot of Shadow of Mordor. Let's get together and maybe have an upload, you know, talking about Shadow of Mordor, you know, or something Mordor related. I'm sorry, I'm kind of a Mordor pro, right? Then I wouldn't stop and say, well, you know what? What's in it for me? Like, what you gonna do for me? Are you gonna toss me some money for, you know, working with you on this? Time is money. What's in it for me? We shouldn't have that fucking mindset. We shouldn't have that mindset. But that mindset is sadly taking over a lot of YouTube. And one problem I see is people judging each other depending on their numbers, their views, their subscribers. Whenever I see people coming by here and my channel, or you might notice it too, CMRetro, people might come by and say, you know what do you know? Who are you to talk about and criticize other people on YouTube because your subscriber numbers aren't high enough? Your views aren't high enough. Fuck the subscribers, fuck the views. That's not what YouTube is about. YouTube is about connecting with other people, enjoying yourself, having fun, and yes, at times being critical of other people, like I am often. I hate that YouTube is broken, and I didn't notice it when I first got onto YouTube, you know? I have not been on YouTube since the very beginning, so I can't really tell you how it was in maybe 2006, 2007. I came around, you know, to checking out YouTube channels in 2013. Then around the end of 2015 and 2016, I uploaded my first uploads, and I started becoming part of YouTube. And then I noticed it right away. A lot of these people that I would see, the gaming channels, before I even knew that there was a lot of shady shit going on, I would notice when I would leave comments, they wouldn't reply to my comments. And I would notice they would sometimes direct me to something, Patreon or something. You know? Great comment, but, you know, here's my Patreon. And I'm like, who the fuck are these motherfuckers to be asking me for money? Who the fuck are you to be asking me for money? You know? Jobless fucks. Yeah, I'll say it. These people without fucking jobs asking me for money even though I work for a living. Okay, that's just something I could never get past. Now, this is not going to be the only upload. There's a lot more I have to say about this. This is just kind of like a taste, right? I wanted to leave you all with something this morning before I went to work. But this is 23 minutes long, and I have a lot more to cover in responding to this upload. Okay, so I'll hopefully try to wrap that up in part 2, and hopefully I'll have some gameplay footage in part 2 for everybody. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.